Sleep is such an important habit of health that no matter what phase of life we are on or are in, we probably could do a little bit better. So, especially as women and we get older and we start to go through our menopausal transition, we are often interrupted in the middle of the night by waking up, having to go to the bathroom, maybe even being drenched from night sweats. So I wanted to give you a couple of different tips that could help you sleep a little bit better and a little more soundly throughout this process in your life. So I would start off by creating a sleep schedule. Our bodies love routine and they love structure. So when you look at your sleep and how many hours that you're getting, try to get up in the morning and go to bed at night at the same time throughout the day, maybe within an hour. And I think just keeping that structure, even on the weekends when you might have more time to sleep in, it would be better to actually kind of keep your body in that same normal rhythm. And it really just helps your body continue to keep a clock so it knows what's coming and it knows what to expect. The other would be to aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I know we always hear that, and it's one area that I've always said, I don't need that because I was an early riser to get up, to go to work. But I heard Brendan Burchard once say that if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep and you think that you don't need it, you don't know what your body is missing until you do. So he did a challenge where he challenged listeners to go to bed and get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And I do have to say that it makes a difference for sure. So I would challenge you to try to get those 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Lack of sleep is not a badge of honor. It's not something that your body brags about. It actually needs sleep to rest and repair. So look at when you're going to bed and count back, or actually when you're waking up and count back 7 to 9 hours earlier. And that would tell you about when you should go to sleep. The third would be to avoid caffeine. Generally avoiding caffeine 8 hours before you go to bed. So a good general rule of thumb would be to cut off caffeine maybe at about 2 o'clock. That would be you're going to bed around 10. If you're going to bed earlier, maybe think about cutting it back. Caffeine's a stimulant. It can keep your body awake, and it takes time for it to actually process through in your body. So try to think that. The other would be alcohol. So alcohol, we know in women, especially with hormonal changes, alcohol can really disrupt your sleep. It is sugar that's going into your body. So watching what you're eating and drinking prior to going to bed makes a big difference. I once heard an OBGYN say, if you're choosing to drink, you're choosing not to sleep. So if you enjoy occasional cocktail here or there, that's fine. I would say drink a lot of water before and after it. If you're somebody that is in the habit of just drinking alcohol to kind of wind down at the end of the day, I would challenge you to look at that as a habit or a routine that you've gotten into. And maybe you can swap that out, especially if you find that your sleep is being disruptive. Look at different ways that you might be able to wind down at the end of the night as opposed to drinking alcohol. So speaking of winding down, I would encourage you to build in a wind down time, 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed. That kind of helps your body just kind of relax and gets your brain to turn off. So one thing that I like to do is I like to write down everything that I have to do the next day to get it out of my mind and onto paper. I am somebody that likes to cross things off on a to-do list. So this just kind of helps set me up for success the next day. Another, which I'm not always good at, but I know that would be helpful, is if I shut off electronics 30 to 60 minutes before I go to bed. And a lot of people I know say, well, I use my phone, I need it in my room, I use it as my alarm clock. Well, there was a time when we actually used alarm clocks and not our phone. I'm telling you, it's just all too tempting to have your devices right there for you to reach for, especially if you're somebody that wakes up throughout the night and you're reaching for that phone. You're just kind of re-stimulating your brain, and it's going to be so much harder to go to bed. So I challenge you to put your phone in a different room. If you're using it for alarm clock, I challenge you to go and buy a cheap alarm clock that you can use that will help wake you up and not be tempting. Other things to look for is to maybe you take a warm bath, maybe you journal, maybe you listen to a meditation. Those are all things that can get your body to calm down and relax. Maybe you read a book, and that can help you. Okay, so my next tip is to keep an optimal sleep environment. So they always suggest keeping electronics out of the room, like we said, that's a big one, but also looking at keeping your room cool. Often it's suggested to keep your room at 65 degrees if you can control your thermostat for your room. Others to keep it dark. Some people like to wear an eye mask to help with that. Others is to keep it quiet. So some people like to wear earplugs, which might help keep the noise out. Just try to do anything that you can to keep your space, your bedroom, a quiet, peaceful, calm space. Sometimes the scent of lavender helps to just kind of calm the atmosphere as well. So now, if you're somebody that has no problem falling asleep, but you find that you're waking up in the middle of the night, ladies, I know this is a thing for sure. I've experienced it myself. I wanted to give you a tip of something that I have learned to do over the last couple of years, and it comes from Mel Robbin's book, The High Five Habit. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It's just a great all-around book. I'm a big Audible listener, so you can listen to it. It's a good one to listen to, or you can pick up a copy. But I would suggest taking your hands and putting your hands over your chest and pressing in. So the vagus nerve is something that helps to calm the parasympathetic nervous system in your body. It helps to relax you, and it runs from your brain, through your heart, into your chest, and into your digestive system. So if you take your hands and press them over your heart and press into them, you're starting to stimulate that vagus nerve, which can actually help to calm your body, bring yourself to a sense of center. Press in and take a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. And continue to take a couple of deep breaths. And then what I've learned through Mel Robbins to say is, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm loved. And breathe as you go through that. And just continue to repeat to yourself, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm loved. And what that does is it just helps to bring a place of centering and calmness to your body, to your mind, and to your heart. I often know when you wake up in the middle of the night or in the early mornings and you're staring at the clock, worrying about how many hours of sleep are you going to get? You have to wake up in a few hours. Are you going to be awake or are you not going to be awake? All of those things just bring more stress and anxiety into your nightly routine. So give it a try. Place your hands over. Take a couple of deep breaths. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm loved. Let me know if those are helpful to you.